We say things that don't mean anything, but thanks for listening. Yeah. Hello and welcome to We Say Things, episode 284. Suns fan here with the Cindermeister. Greetings, sir.
Hello. Hello, Shannon. I'm back.
You are back. Can you do the patrons again? This might
You
just
are
be
back.
This might be a weekly thing for you to do instead of me.
We are back. Okay. Well, I shall. Thank you to our In Bruges tier, consisting of none other than, drumroll, Amish Toaster. Shout out to Peace, Love, and Dota. You seemed nice. Crownfall Enjoyer, Disco Farm D, Dop, Empire of Dirt, Isaac Hansen, Anonymous, Malicious Damage, Pepperballs, Suns Nugget Boy STGC Daniel, T-Coil, the Megapope, Vlad, Let's Have Puppy on the Podcast, Wagyu Hater, Wooden Aftertaste, and bananas are slightly radioactive because they contain potassium-40, a naturally radioactive form of potassium, Mr. Niebling. I think I've heard of that before, actually.
I think I have as well, but I have forgotten about it. So thank you, Niebling. We appreciate you. Before we get started, I'm just going to say my thing, Cinderin.
Okay.
We didn't do podcast last week because unexpectedly our cat Bucket died. And it was very traumatizing for us because it was like right in front of us and tried to resuscitate him and all that shit, but wasn't to be. So just going to leave it at that because I know some people cared about our cats quite a bit. But yeah, the other two cats are doing good. Took them to the vet and there's no like underlying issues that we found, so just bad luck, I guess. So there's no good segue, Cinderman, so we'll just
No, there isn't.
move on to the patch 7.40C. Very exciting patch, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can spin something interesting out of this.
Please do.
So it's a C patch, obviously. It's letter patch number 3 in the, or number 2, I guess, if you will. So mostly whenever letter patches reach beyond B, I think sometimes C patches are pretty big, but generally after that, it's just mainly numbers changes. And this one, gonna skip over a lot of the small things that are either largely irrelevant or, minor things that once in a blue moon makes a big difference, or yeah. And if you take that into account, then most of the things here are just numbers, which is fine. I have absolutely no problem with patches like this. I think they're very good. I think it's good to have them more regularly, if possible, just to keep things interesting. And whenever something gets established as too powerful, just to
Would you say when a
kick it down a
letter
little bit.
patch comes out, you get moist? Is that accurate assessment?
Did you just really want to use that word, or?
No, I'm just curious.
No, not really, actually.
Emotionally moist?
No, I get moist when I'm in the shower, Shannon. That's about it.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, no worries. It's all good. Always good to ask, You never know. Yeah, I have a few things I just want to highlight here. Obviously, this patch is also... I'm trying to remember which date this came out, because obviously we, like you mentioned, it's been 2 weeks since the last episode, so some of this is not that new anymore. But there are a couple of things that I personally want to talk about because I'm very biased against these heroes, so I'm really happy when they get shit on. Exhibit A, my least favorite hero of all time, Broodmother, has been nerfed. Primarily on necrotic webs. This is both in pro but also in pubs being used as like a direct counterpick, actually, where you can use Brood against heroes that restore health because of how powerful this is. They cut it down by a decent amount at max level. I remember a game recently, a couple of weeks ago or whatever, I had a carry Morphling in my team playing against Brood, and he just couldn't play the game in fights because when you would attribute shift, you would get less than a third of what you normally would. Obviously, keep in mind, this is restoration reduction. It's not healing. These two have been separated a couple of months ago in a big patch. So everything that restores health is worse against Brood by a lot. But now, yeah, this got nerfed in this patch, so that's good. Everybody's favorite new kid on the block, Clinks, got nerfed again. In particular, massively nerfed on how much damage his skeleton walk, skeleton lings, whatever you want to call them, archers, do to buildings. And also how the scepter works just made worse, so that's good. And then one that I want to mention, even though this doesn't sound like that big of a deal, I thought this one was a really weird change. Ember gets the duration of chains at all levels lowered by 1/4 of a second, but the damage per second is a flat 100 on all levels, which means this went from being a 65 damage nuke level 1 to 150.
Yep, that's pretty big.
This hero as a support position 4, for example, or even played in any core role, his like laning prowess with this spell is a lot better.
Support?
And when I read this, I was like, I don't even know if this is a nerf overall. Like, yeah, you have a shorter chains overall in the end, but the damage and the value you get out of this, especially on the early levels in terms of laning prowess or fighting or anything, probably outweighs the longer duration later, is what I would think. But let's see. He's still a very top tier hero for sure. So I don't really know if this was meant to be a nerf. It's a bit weird, honestly. One of my least favorite heroes of all time, Shannon Huskar, also gets nerfed on my number one least favorite facet of all time.
Wait, I didn't know you didn't like this hero. I thought it was just the facet you hated.
It's mainly the facet, to be honest. But they kind of go hand in hand because this is the facet that everybody picks more or less every time. I hate Cauterize, and it got nerfed on cooldown, so that's good. And this is actually quite impactful, especially the fact that level 4 Cauterize is a 30-second cooldown instead of 20. But it still has the same issue where classic counterpicks to Huskar that have like healing reduction, Vessel, all this stuff, he still gets one free get out of jail free card every fight with Cauterize. And I'm notoriously not a fan of that, so that sucks. And then the biggest story of the patch by far, Shannon, Largo is in CM. And I think this is probably the fastest introduction to Captain's Mode I can remember for any hero in like the new era of Dota, if you will. So like in the last 10 years, maybe.
I mean, it's definitely, there's no question.
When did 740 come out?
December. Remember, it was before Christmas, like 16th or something.
Yeah, so it's been a month and a week or something, or maybe even just a month, because I don't remember exactly the date that this patch dropped the 740C, but this is very early. This hero seems a little bit like a fan favorite. You and I both like the design. I think he's fun to watch. I think he's fun to play. Hard to say how good he is in competitive Dota yet, because when the hero is that new, people need time, but he's being rated high.
When you say fan favorite, what does that mean? Because I don't think he's very popular. From pubs.
Well, the overall general feedback that I saw to it was that people thought it was a cool and fun design. I don't know how many people he's not a fan favorite like Pudge, right?
This is why rating like heroes when we do that patch is gonna be when we do that tier list is gonna be so hard, because Largo, like you and I both love the design. It's really cool. It doesn't mean the last two heroes I would argue are niche, which is unfortunate. Would you agree with that? Like the
what was the one before Largo?
It's Kez.
Oh yeah, true. It's Kez.
Like
I mean, I try to forget Kez.
Just an average player, which is most people that play Dota. They don't watch this podcast.
True.
They will not be playing either of these heroes, which I think is kind of unfortunate. But Largo, from like a design perspective and like pro game perspective, I think is cool.
I think he's way more accessible to beginners than Kez is.
It's still niche though.
I guess, but it's easier to understand what he does, right?
To a point. Like there's obviously a scale to it, but I think this guy's niche. I mean, look at it this way.
I think a lot of people are going to see the preview for the hero. They're going to see his ultimate is Guitar Hero, and they're going to be like, hell yeah, I love Guitar Hero. And then they'll
play it once, and then they'll be frustrated because it's hard to play. But I think the way that I know this is not a scientific approach, but when a hero comes out, they are picked nonstop. Typically, that is not the case for Largo. I will say. And this is just from like normal pubs, not Immortal, not all that bullshit. Just regular pubs. This hero's barely picked. I can't remember the last time I even played against the Largo. Legitimately, it's been like it's been weeks.
Okay, I mean,
For me,
he's relatively common in the games that I play and what I've seen in pro games as well. So,
yes, high rank is not Dota though.
Right.
Just an interesting.
I mean, we'll see. I think he'll be fun to see in pro. But I kind of agree with your sentiment that he's not played. He's not played as much as you would maybe think. When I saw the design come through and the hero get posted, I was like, I could have imagined that becoming like, I mean, my wording of fan favorite was like, there was a lot of positive feedback on the hero on the subreddit, but obviously, like you said, it's a minority. So will the average player play this a lot? Based on the feedback I saw there and what people thought was cool about him, I thought he would be more popular than he is, to be honest. So I'm a little bit surprised by that. Maybe when he gets a facet, Shannon, surely that will...
a facet that doesn't require you to play instruments so that regular people will not be intimidated, perhaps.
Lone Druid gets buffed for the 5th patch in a row. He got 2 Agi and Savage Roar is better. We'll see if this is enough to make him more popular. Your favorite hero, Pangolier, gets some buffs again because the last round was not enough. Interesting that they're going for the Fortune Favors the Bold. So that's the innate, which increases the... How do we phrase this correctly? Lowers the chance that enemies proc further.
It's one of the weirdest innates in the game. I always have to reread it because it's something you don't notice in the game anyways. It's like this felt like a filler, like forcing it kind of innate personally. But I do like that they're obviously I wasn't a fan that they got rid of all these facets. I thought it was half of a patch, as we've talked about. But one thing I do like is the Pangolier. They're making him more of a swashbuckler and less of a shield crasher.
Right.
If that makes sense. Which I think is his original identity, which I like the most. And then the double jump came out, and it really, everybody was going for that. It's felt like that's been the case for like 2 years now.
And also when barrier as a concept was introduced, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Getting barrier is very powerful because of the way it interacts with damage reduction, right? So it just further made shield crash.
I mean, there's no reason that the 2 facets can't just be catered around a shield crash build and a swashbuckle build. I think both would be viable, even if they're not both viable and competitive. As long people are going to be playing both in pubs because it's just fun.
Sure.
For both of these skills.
I mean, one of them could also be ulti related and one is swashbuckle, and that's it. Now you need to choose. Am I trying to play on my low cooldown ability or do I want the ult impact, right? I think that's fine. I don't think there's any issue with that. One more to mention. Timber loses 3 base strength, but that gets 0.1 strength gain. So on level 30, he's basically the same.
Wow.
But he needs to work his way up. 3 strength is a lot for a hero to lose. In the beginning of the game. It's like 60 HP. It's quite a big deal. And the strength gain doesn't remotely compensate, obviously, because every step of the way until max level, you're just worse. Treant, who has been trending, we talked about Treant having an identity crisis where the axe was for core, but the hero's kit is support.
Yeah. And
would you believe it, in Immortal and in pro games, this hero is only played as support. Nobody buys the axe. But he's really, really strong. This is one of the best heroes in the game right now.
It has to be a top 5 shard in the game, surely. Right?
Yeah, it's insanely good. And the nerf they made this patch is that you get 50 gold for killing an eye in the forest. You only get that if you destroy the eye, not if you cut the tree, though. So you have to attack it twice. It has 2 HP like a power cog, for example. 2 hero attacks. You can't just go around cutting trees with spells that just wipe out the forest and then get a lot of gold. You have to attack them. That's pretty much it. The rest is mainly numbers changes. What I will say, though, is that I am pretty encouraged by the patch frequency so far. That 740 came out, then it was Christmas and New Year, so then not much happening. And then B patch, and then C patch as well within a month. I think this is nice. I'm not expecting this tendency to continue, but I'm a pretty big proponent of dropping a patch, whether it's mid or big size. This one, like we both agree, was like a medium-sized patch, but then not letting it linger for too long without fixing stuff that is inherently, clearly a little bit busted.
Yep, that's true.
So I like this pacing. I hope we get a D patch soon, and then obviously, I mean, this was 740. I think the next full patch, if you will, has to give everybody facets again, right? Like there's just
Yeah,
there's
I think that's the
no
plan.
point.
I genuinely think that they were planning to do that for 7.4 because
Yeah.
like typically it's not like it's required, but anytime you're as a game dev and you're rolling over to the 10th, so 7.4, that should be a pretty fucking big deal. It was not at all. So
Yeah.
7.41 will be the second half of the patch is what I'm expecting.
And that also begs the question. I saw some rumors just now, actually, very new rumors from some data mining that supposedly 741 is coming out in mid-February, aligning with Chinese New Year. I don't know at all if there's any truth to that, but considering what we just talked about and the size of 740 and that Valve usually does something for Chinese New Year, it's not out of the question that there could be the next number patch already, which then puts in those facets and maybe something extra. And then it's not like a big patch, but, you know, something more than what 740 had. Wouldn't surprise me. At the very least, this current pacing is kind of indicating that they're actively looking to tweak things, if nothing else. So that's cool. Yeah, that's pretty much 740C unless there's something you want to add. Those are the big takeaways for me.
Nope.
Okay, then let's move on to something that I forgot to add to the outline last episode, excuse me, not 2 weeks ago, which I realized immediately after the episode, and I was like, oops, that was definitely worth talking about, because we were talking about Puppy staying as coach for PowerVision, which, by the way, is now officially confirmed by the org. Last episode, we talked about how 9class confirmed it on his stream, but now it's truly official that he is with PowerVision. And on the topic of coaching, we did not mention that Silent is no longer the active coach of Spirit, which was a very big surprise for me. So the statement, as you see on your screens right now, unless you're on audio, I'll just read it out loud. As of today, Silent is removed from the active roster. We would like to express our gratitude to Irat, or I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Silent is a truly legendary coach. His wise guidance, effective ideas, and vibrant leadership has led us to the very top of the Dota 2 pro scene and strengthened our position for many years to come. During all this time, we've known Irat not just as a brilliant professional, but also as a good friend and a great person. This is not goodbye, and we wish Irat success in both professional and personal life. Please keep following, blah, blah. So there's no like explanation here about whether he wanted to take a break or quit, or whether the team didn't want him anymore, or if it was the org. This is very like, how to say, it doesn't say anything. It just says he was a great coach. Everybody loved him. He's a great person.
And this is
Thanks
not
for
goodbye.
all your hard work.
Dot.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I think that's a translation error.
Like,
I had to guess. That was pretty random.
Thanks for everything, but this is not goodbye. Then why are you making a post? But yeah, to me, it's always, this is one of the things that is hardest to appreciate as a viewer and as a caster and as anything, unless you're directly on a team, is the impact of a coach. My overall impression is that Silent has been a very big part of Spirit's success as a team for years. So it begs the question, what happened? And we can obviously only speculate here, but I don't see what coach Spirit could get that would make them better than they were with Silent. Also because of the rapport you build with your players, right? Like there's so much trust and so much experience, which again, did they lose that trust at some point? Is it because of their relatively poor result as of the last half year to a year? Do they feel like he's not, like, who the hell knows, right? But this is definitely a pretty big story because he's like probably a top 3 coach of all time in Dota, I would say. I think that's pretty fair to say. Him and AUI, who else has been as remotely as successful as a coach? I guess Don't know, right? Zhao
Mm,
8, I suppose.
yeah, definitely Zhao 8.
Probably those three, right? Are the big three? I don't know if there's anyone else. Like Seb was coming to mind because he coached OG when they won multiple majors, right? But then he
Then
started
he
playing
just
again.
joins the roster again. No, he doesn't count.
So I don't know. Like he obviously was massively successful as a coach too during that period. But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, one of the greats. I'm curious what he does. The way I choose to interpret this is not a goodbye is probably that Silent wants to do something else in Dota. So maybe it's a break. Maybe he's going to do analyst work. Maybe he is doing something with another team. Who knows? But that's that for him on Spirit. Moving on, speaking of Zhao 8, not that he's directly involved with this, but we are transitioning over to Chinese Dota, where Vici Gaming have updated their roster, and would you believe it, they are recycling the same 15 players again.
My boy,
Vici
Faith
Gaming
Beyond,
now.
baby. Let's go.
Now, that's the thing about this that has me excited is one of my favorite players, period, of all time is Faith Beyond, and he's on this roster, and he's also my favorite Chinese player. So I personally am happy to see him back on a team. I think this guy is something special, and I think one of the things he can give Chinese teams, in my opinion, is I think he is very stable. And a lot of the Chinese teams that we've cast over the last couple of years have just had some atrocious like early games or bad drafting. And then their team fighting has always, in my opinion, been excellent. And their late game is great too. But a lot of the time they just never got there. I always thought Bach was a very formidable laner and very stable and has a very wide hero pool. So he should be a great asset for drafting as well as that early game problem that I think the region has had for a long time. Now he's joining Shiro, XM, Planet, and Y. So Bach and Y back together.
Yeah, but it's hard to remember like how close of a roster this was to last year and the year before and the year before that. Like I genuinely don't remember. They just flip flop a couple names here, a couple names there.
Yeah. Still waiting for like that next new Chinese superstar, right? Like there's obviously in Eastern Europe, we've had Satanic as the biggest newcomer, right, in the last year, if you will, probably. And if China could get a star player like that they could rally behind, that would be really interesting. But for now, it's the same old guard that just keeps it going. And I don't know, maybe the player just doesn't exist. You know, maybe it's not a matter of discovering them; they just aren't there.
But they're playing another game. That's the problem.
Well, there you go. But yeah, that was a short update on Vici Gaming, which should be playing in the qualifiers, as a matter of fact, for what we are moving on to next, which is the qualifiers for ESL One Birmingham, which have taken place. Now, like we talked about 2 episodes ago, the qualifier for ESL Birmingham and Dream League Season 28 are both happening simultaneously in one tournament in China, and that tournament has actually begun today. And one of the teams playing in that is indeed Vici Gaming, who so far so good have won all 3 of their games. So they are already in the upper bracket final. And guess who they're playing? Extreme Gaming. So no surprise whatsoever. Absolute shocker. We'll see how they do. Now we have the other results that are confirmed. So by region, I'll try to shotgun through this because we have 2 qualifiers this time around. So for Birmingham, your North America close qualifier winners are going to be Gamer Legion, who this time were really challenged by Rottweilers, Latam, who basically lost by as little to them as possible. They got 2-1 in the upper finals and then 3-2 in the grand finals. And that was a reverse sweep, by the way. Gamer Legion were down 2-0. And then they won 3 games back-to-back in pretty convincing fashion, too. The first game was a marathon, and then the next games were relatively short, and especially they just figured something out between game 2 and 3 and got it done. So they will represent NA again. Now, South America is another disaster for Heroic.
Oh my goodness.
Who, again, lose to Peru Rejects twice. So Parker and Schofield and the gang once more are going to beat their ex-teammates 2-1 in the uppers and then 3-0 in the grand final. So another just
remind me on the father. Parker was the father.
No, that was Pakaz.
God damn it, dude.
Shannon, I think it's best we let bygones be bygones. You know, it's
wait. Okay, Pakat. Man, it's so hard because Parker's the one that nobody likes, right? So I just connect them for some reason.
It's all good.
Who's the other guy?
You're gonna make me look this up just to be sure. It's Stinger. I don't want to get it wrong.
Stinger.
We've already got it wrong like twice.
Is
I'm not doing it
this
again.
at all?
Stinger, I think, was not on
No.
any of the teams in this tournament. I don't
God,
think so.
it's just so confusing, guys.
It's all good, Shannon.
It's tough.
In your defense, South America as well has for a while kind of, at least at large, been recycling a lot of the same players in the top contenders.
I mean, you could say that for every region in Dota.
Yeah, I suppose. Except I would argue Eastern Europe, there's actually been a lot of movement and a lot of upcoming players in the last few years. But anyway, that's South America. So congrats again, Peru rejects make it through. Now in Europe got 4 slots in their qualifiers, which were taken by Falcons taking the top spot, or Falcons and VP take the top spots because they won in the first round. Big surprise for me personally that VP made it through here. This was a packed qualifier. Falcons, VP, Liquid, Navi, Enigma Galaxy, Mouse, and then Pipsqueak +4 and Zero Tenacity from the open qualifiers were, obviously the wild cards. But Mouse got the 3rd slot after beating Liquid, and then finally Enigma Galaxy beat out Navi, both of them 2-1. And I believe I saw a stat that this is the first time in an ESL tournament that Liquid are neither invited nor qualified in many years. I forgot how many it was, if it was like 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. So that is unsurprising for you, of course, because they're always your white donkey. But
they had to make the tournament to be white donkey. That's the issue.
That's right. It's even worse now. It's
man, they were such a safe bet every time too. That's what
I don't even know what's honestly. Yeah, now you're gonna have to.
The reason you owe me such an expensive dinner is because of Team Liquid. They fucking carried me last year.
Right, I'm gonna take it up with Blitz. I'm gonna outsource the bet.
I have to say though, VP, this is the team I'm rooting for secretly, and not so secretly since I just said it publicly. But love Bulba, love Fly. I mean, all these players in their own way, they've been shuffled around. They're kind of the rejects, and it's hard not to root for people like that have just stuck with it. So.
Yep, it's really cool, and it's always good that the qualifiers don't have the same winners every time. So,
and they're in EU. I mean,
even if you're not a fan of any of the teams, it's just
crazy for going to EU. You get a free slot in NA with this team.
Yeah, well, I don't know how consistently this team would beat Gamer Legion. To be honest, I think there would be competitive series, but I would probably think VP would win more than half, but not like free slot like the old EG that would always go through, right?
Yeah, but versus let's just say it's a 60-40, so 60% chance.
Yeah.
As opposed to fine. EU. It's packed.
Yeah. However,
you do get
the perspective here potentially is by playing EU and playing these tough matches, it's one thing to get to events if you're then always like coming through from a region that's just not very competitive.
Yeah.
And then you get to the tournament, and then you haven't had all of this massive experience you get from playing these high stakes qualifiers all the time, which is there's a lot of growth to be had playing the tournaments that VP are playing to qualify for, right? So when you then get to the LAN, perhaps you have a better shot at actually making like a top 4, right? Because you learned so much along the way. Where in your own region, you're kind of realistically you're playing 1, maybe 2 series that are interesting, and the rest is just like get it over with kind of thing, which is a shame. Like we both want NA to be better, but it just fucking isn't now. All right, next. Eastern Europe. This one was a little bit more, I'm not going to say this was obvious, but like the representation of the teams here, at least BetBoom were a pretty clear favorite, and they did end up taking it. I believe they didn't even lose a game. Yeah, they didn't. They just 6-0'd their way through. Win, and then they were done. The second slot ended up going to Aurora, who actually lost to Inner Circle first in the uppers, and then they met them again after Inner Circle lost to BetBoom, and then Aurora got their revenge. And this is, of course, a little bit of a still the mixed Aurora that I don't really know what to think about with Nightfall, Mira, and Kaori. And then they have these two SEA players in Mikoto and WS, who I think are both incredibly talented, but just a weird mix. This is a team that I personally just don't think they will ever get top 3. I don't know about you, but
If they replace Nightfall, I think
you're not a Nightfall fan, and
well, hold on.
Okay.
From a spectator standpoint, he's one of my favorite players. He's fucking hilarious to watch. Him and Kiyotaka are my top 2 people to cast because they are so funny when they play. In terms of winning, absolutely not. I would never want Nightfall on my team, ever.
Okay.
Just an opinion, just an observation.
I mean, I don't, like I was saying, I don't think this team is going to make top 3s, but I will be pleasantly surprised if they do. This player combination, for me, it's just not it. But, and that's also like, when you make international teams of this type, I think there's like something you as a team need to overcome is like the cultural differences of your approach in general to language, to practice, and to just socializing, right? When you're in a team environment, that makes a big deal for, you see all these documentaries about teams winning tournaments and how things are going. The classic one that most people have watched is with OG, right? How much it matters that you have a good support system. And it's a lot harder to have a good support system if your frame of reference for what a support system is doesn't align, right? So that's a concern that I will have with a roster like this. But in terms of skill, I don't have any worry. I think their players are very good, but there's more to it than just that, as we've seen for countless years now. But let's see. They get another shot here at Birmingham, so that's cool. And then finally, for SEA, would you believe it, Shannon? Reconics did it again. So this time, I think the qualifier was less stacked than the previous one they made. Realistically, there's some good teams in terms of player names here, but realistically, the biggest challenge was going to be Execration, and that was their grand finals opponent. But they beat them again, 3-1, and that was after actually. Wait, hang on. What am I seeing here? Oh yeah, they got knocked down round 1.
Yeah.
By Ivory. They ran the whole gauntlet. They just got better and better. So it's such a weird thing to look at. You get knocked down round 1 by a team that then loses their following 2 series and just get eliminated. Yeah. And in the lower bracket, you lose no games. It looks so weird.
Who's on Ivory? Maybe there's some history there. They got the
special sauce. Yeah, I don't think you know a single of these players.
No, I don't.
So it's just, it's a pretty unusual bracket like this. You lose to a team that then bombs out and you just go on a tear. After dropping to the lower bracket, Reconics went 11-1. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, cool. I was happy last time we talked about them winning a qualifier. Now here's another one. So double representation for them.
New
very,
blood.
very cool.
We love it.
Love to see that. So they will be at Birmingham. Now that's that one qualifier. Let's move on to the next. I'll try to be quicker about this. There's also fewer qualifiers for this, so that's easier because PGL Wallachia Season 7 had their qualifiers as well. Worth mentioning, both of these tournaments take place in March, by the way. So there's a bit of time until then. But PGL chose a different format this time where they put the Americas into one qualifier and Asia into one qualifier, which is an interesting choice. So obviously there are some invited teams, which means there are some representation regardless for some regions. Let me see. Hang on. Am I reading this wrong? I could have sworn there was an invited Chinese team. Oh, there is at Extreme. Okay, I was like, I couldn't find them in the list. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So yeah, only 4 qualifiers here. The Americas won first. Finally, Shannon. Heroic got their revenge. Finally.
How close were these matches together?
So this one, the Heroic versus Peru Reject for this one was played today. So that's 20 hours ago. And the Birmingham one was played... Let me find this. The Birmingham series was played 10 days ago.
Oh, Okay.
So a week and a half in between.
And they 3-0.
But yeah, this one was
15 minutes? What in the fuck?
complete shit stomp of a finals. I can't remember the last time I've seen something like this. Peru Rejects got run over, completely destroyed. It was a 3-game series that lasted like an hour in total playtime.
31 minutes, 23 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I see Huskar,
And
so I just assume he just won
they
his lane
stomped them
horribly.
twice with Huskar. I don't know how you let this happen at this level, but it did. So,
Wow.
and mind you, this was after Heroic actually dropped down in the upper semis. They lost to Gamer Legion. So they also had to do a little bit of a run. And in similar fashion to what we talked about before, Heroic dropped to the lower bracket, and then they never lost again. They went 9-0 after they dropped down. So they smashed it. So congrats to Heroic. South America remains a competitive region. And of course, this was an Americas qualifier. So Gamer Legion was in there and did meet their match. Effectively, they get third here. Yeah, they got third. So you could make the case that South America is just, the two best South American teams in this instance were better than the best American team, or North American team. Western Europe, 1 slot only because there were so many invites. And noteworthy teams here were BP, Nigma Galaxy, Zero Tenacity, and Yellow Submarine. And Yellow Submarine, Shannon, lost 1 game this whole qualifier. And it was to a team called Valinor in round 1, a fully Turkish team. Which I can't remember the last time I've seen that. It's so weird to look at. But yeah, that was all they lost. They 2-0'd VP, they 2-0'd Strong Boys, which is like a stack of high-skilled players. And they 3-0'd Pipsqueak +4. Virtus Pro. Wait, what?
They lost the Yellow Submarine in the uppers.
I don't understand what's happened here in the bracket, actually.
What do you mean?
So VP beat Nigma Galaxy 2-1.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
And then Nigma advanced. Did VP either get disqualified or just... Is this wrong? I didn't watch these particular games, right? I know Pipsqueak made it far. I remember that. But I don't know what happened here. I can't explain this.
Chat is saying,
Wikipedia's results are never wrong, basically.
Chat is saying that the score is wrong. Nigma did beat.
Oh, so Nigma 2-1 them, so it's just scored incorrectly. Got it. Okay. That makes sense. That's weird to see. Okay, yeah. So Nigma beat VP, and then Nigma got 2-0'd by Pipsqueak. So arguably the two favorites. One of them knocks the other one out, and the other one loses to Pipsqueak +4, which is not all that surprising, because again, these teams are very strong, and any given day you can lose to these teams. But you would think at least one of VP or Nigma Galaxy would make the upper finals, right? But they didn't. Not even.
Good for Yellow
so that's
Submarine,
cool. That brings Yellow Submarine into the mix. That's an org we haven't seen or a name we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
This team has Bottega, Mirel, Infernal, Problems, and Hatred. And the question I have here is, I believe Mirel is actually a stand-in for Spirit right now in place of Laurel. So which team is he going to play for?
What is their logo? I understand that this is a submarine. What do the letters mean? To me, it just says yes.
Yeah, Yellow Submarine.
Huh? YE
yellow
for yellow and S for submarine?
Apparently. It's always been like this. It's been like this for 15 years.
I'm missing something.
Or 10 years.
Why even put the E then? Just YS.
Because I guess it looks nice that it says yes. I think it's just more of a... It had you asking questions, That's why they did it.
Got me.
There you go. Another one gets caught in the web. Anyway, really cool to see, again, another team. We love that. So, more new players.
Indeed.
Yeah, it remains to be seen what happens for Spirit. I don't know if Laurel is back for this tournament. Maybe he is, because I don't think Mirel can play in 2 teams at once. He's very good, though. But that's probably his limits. And then, Shannon, speaking of old names, not only Yellow Submarine, Power Rangers won the Eastern Europe qualifier. This team name I have not seen at a LAN in forever.
It's not related to the other one, though, right?
I have to say I don't know exactly.
There's not even a Wikipedia page for them.
No, so I don't know if they've just claimed the name or if this is actually still the Power Rangers org originally, because like you said, it doesn't even have a reference here. But regardless, just the name it's fun to see the name, but since they don't even have the Power Rangers logo, the original one, maybe they just took the name and they think it's funny. We'll have to see when they arrive at the tournament, right? What logo they're using. They're probably not using the Dota 2 logo, which is their current logo on Wikipedia. But yeah, they beat out teams such as 1W Team and Avulus to get there. This was an easier Eastern European qualifier because of the invited teams, including BetBoom and Aurora and Parivision. So this gave a team like this a chance to get a slot, and it's cool. So that's Nesphere, Nikki Cool, Alberca, Immersion, and H Duo. And Immersion, you probably remember, he was a pretty popular position 4 player, mainly for his Earth Spirit and Phoenix. When he played for teams such as Gambit. I mean, he's played for like all the big Eastern Europe orgs, basically, in Dota. Gambit, Navi, Spirit. And he even played for a team called Positive Guys for a month and a half. That was as long as the positivity lasted. But that's not bad. All right. And finally, the Asia qualifier. So this was a mixed bag. This had SEA and Chinese teams. And Reconyx was back, but this time around they couldn't cut it, and nor could Execration. It was actually Nemesis that ended up running away with it after beating pretty much the longest road you can from the uppers to the victory. They got 2-1'd by Vici Gaming in the upper finals. Then they had to play Playtime, which is the I don't want to call it streamer stack because that's not true, but like big Filipino profiles with Gabby and Cuckoo, Armel, Akashi, and DJ. They beat them 2-0, and then they got their rematch against Vici, and that went the distance. 3-2 secures Nemesis this spot. So yeah, Vici, the new roster with Bach not making it for this one. Bit surprising for me, honestly. I thought they would be the favorite for the qualifiers when I look at like the star power.
Yeah, but when you look at Team Nemesis, I mean, these are more the names that have been shuffled around in SCA, but
yeah.
I think the bigger story, you mentioned it, we didn't really talk about it, is that the combining of regions, though. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I think for
I wonder
the
what servers they played.
That's true. Yeah. Like from a tournament, if I was making a tournament, which I would never do anymore in Dota, by the way. I'm not wasting any more money. But if I was wanting to just throw away money, I would definitely combine the Americas. I think that's a 100% you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously Eastern, Western Europe, you have to split up, and you probably give a bunch of slots to, if not just directly.
What if you gave it one mega qualifier, Western and Eastern together, and like 6 slots?
That's only I would only do that if I'm directly inviting a bunch of the good teams already, right? Now, okay. I think the controversial one is Asia, though, with SEA and China. I think that one is not as clear cut to me, and I wonder why they did. I mean, obviously, how many teams did they invite? Any SCA?
To the main tournament?
Yeah,
I don't think so. No,
doesn't look
not
like
a single SCA team invited. Oh, OG, excuse me. OG are invited.
Oh, of course, forgot that they're SCA.
So China and SCA had one invited team each, and then they played the qualifier for effectively like the third Asian slot, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I would say generally getting SCA and Chinese players to a LAN is the most annoying, not including Russians, I guess. Outside of like the Russia stuff, these are the most annoying regions to get to a specific location. So on that front, I guess I can understand, but I feel like you're losing out on some pretty good teams at the LAN. So it's kind of interesting that they did that. I mean, I don't mind them switching things up like this, though. Every once in a while.
I'm just thinking, in reality, how different is this from what we usually see? There's 2 SEA teams, 1 Chinese team, and the rest is Western, Eastern Europe. What is it usually at Wallachia? I think it's kind of similar, right?
It worked out that way.
Like, generally, Wallachia has 2 Chinese teams, I think, and 1 SEA, if I'm not mistaken. Like, maybe sometimes it's been 2 and 2.
I mean, I'm sure they thought that Vici would win this, right? So they were banking on 2 Chinese teams.
You can't count on that, obviously. But... yeah, either way. I don't think Wallachia has ever had more than a total of 4 SEA plus China teams, and I think most of them have been 3. So that's kind of the same as before.
I will say though, the qualifiers, if you're combining them, are more hype. I think that makes them more interesting to watch. So
yeah, cross-regional play is just more interesting.
I think it's a cool take, and I mean, I wouldn't want to see it for every tournament, but I don't mind that every once in a while. America
Yeah,
should
and
just
if you
be
did
one region, though.
if you wanted 2 additional Asian teams, you could just make this qualifier with 2 slots, right? And that would be fine. Then this time around, you would have got Nemesis and Vici, for example.
Yeah.
But then you would have had to cut a slot from the invites effectively, because every qualifier had 1 spot, which is very rare for this. There's 12 invites and 4 qualifiers only for Wallachia. So, yep, that's that though, Shannon. Which can you believe it brings us to more Dota. That's what happens when we have an extra week to cover. There's even more stuff because now we are almost at Blast Slam 6, which begins in 3 days. This is the one that's being played in Malta, and it is being played with a total of 12 teams. And I think we just, as usual, just do our predictions. Now, classic Blast fashion, 3rd, 4th is the same placement. So if you select something for your top 3, you're right if they're 3rd, 4th. The participating teams are... hang on. They've changed the format for this a little bit, what it looks like, haven't they? Okay. So Tundra, Falcons, Mouse, Heroic, Yandex, Spirit, OG, Liquid, Gamer Legion, Navi, Extreme Gaming, and Reconyx. You are ahead, so you pick first.
Oh, that's how it works?
Wasn't that what we said last time?
I don't know.
That was the comeback mechanic or whatever?
Okay, well, I'll do top 3 then.
Okay.
I'm going to say... God, am I lame? Tundra Falcons?
As 1 and 2?
Yep.
Okay.
And I kind of want to go for a sexy pick here.
Okay.
I'm going to say Heroic. That is a wild card. I know that's I know that's out there.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Now keep in mind this is not the the very short group stage into single LM that Blast ran on early slams. This is the mega group stage into single LM. Eventually, there's like mega group stage, then there's the play in, and then there's the play off. So there will be a lot of games played, which drastically reduces variance here. And obviously 2 of your picks are just standard safe picks, if you will, right? That have a good shot. Interesting to hear you pick Heroic. I will choose in first place. I mean, Tundra wins all of these. It has to stop, right?
Yeah, of course.
It has to stop. They're a really good pick for top 3, though. Yeah, I can't not put them top 3. I'll put them 3rd.
Okay.
Second place will be Yandex. And first place... Fuck, this is actually really hard. I'll do Falcons. See, what's interesting here, Shannon, is that now we're sharing 2 out of 3 teams in the top 3. So if they make it, now the placement is very important for me to catch up.
That's right. Very cool strat.
Top 3 associated. Yeah, super smart. I need some points. You're ahead 10-4, by the way.
Is there any way I'm allowed to pick
forget.
Team Liquid as White Donkey here?
Yes.
I am.
But the question is, where is that now?
So it's out of 12 teams?
The intervals here, you can place 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th through 10th, and 11th through 12th.
Okay.
And I don't even know if I'll give you Liquid for 7th, 10th.
Damn
anymore.
It. That's what I was going to go for.
Is that even White Donkey here with these teams? It's pretty stacked. This is a good tournament. Like,
okay.
In terms of recent power levels, I think Liquid are in that span, actually. Like, that's where they're... So I will give you 11th, 12th if you're feeling yourself.
No, I'm not going to go that far. Okay. Team Spirit, White Donkey.
Okay.
What will you give me for that?
Lower half?
Ugh, I don't know if I can do that. So 7th to 10th?
7th or worse, right?
Okay.
I don't think that's out of the question.
This is a bit of a YOLO one. I'll take that.
Okay, so Spirit 7th or worse. Excuse me. What's your dark horse?
If I say Raconics 7th through 10th,
That's not enough, I think.
okay.
I think the dark horse has to reach the upper half here.
I can't pick them 5th, 6th. There's no way. There's no.
It's hard to pick a dark horse here, actually, because I think most of the teams that you feel like could even do it, it's even debatable whether that's fair to call them a dark horse. So then maybe you have to aim higher, and it's like dark horse for top 3.
I could. I mean, obviously, I pick heroic top 3, which is a dark horse.
Yeah, you could double dip on that. I'll give you that for sure.
I'm not a fan of double dipping though, so I want to spread.
I mean, you could change your plan then. You could put heroic as your dark horse for top 3, and then get a different 3rd place if you want.
YOLO Navi 5th, 6th.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I'm not feeling good about this one. I'm not gonna lie.
This
is your time.
Not out of the question either. I actually think there's a really good chance they just barely don't make it there. I think there would be, if you could pick like 7th, 8th or whatever, if that was a thing, that's probably where I would place them. So, which also means that, it doesn't take much before you're there. Okay, my dark horse is... Will you give me Extreme Gaming top 4?
Extreme Gaming top 4. Yes, I will give you that.
Okay, then I'll do that. And my white donkey is that Extreme Gaming. So you took Spirit in the lower half. I kind of like that pick, actually. Is it white donkey if Maus don't make top 6, given their recent months? What do you think? They won a LAN. They've had good placements.
I think that's.
You think so? Okay, then I'll do Maus 7th or worse.
Yeah. I think it's fine.
Okay, let's do that. Cool. Okay, that's it. So recapping here, you picked Tundra, Falcons Heroic as your top 3, Dark Horse, Navi 5th, 6th, or better, of course. So that's Navi 6th or better. I'll rephrase that here. And then you have White Donkey Spirit 7th or worse. And for me, I have Falcons, Yandex Tundra, Dark Horse is Extreme Gaming top 4, and White Donkey is Maus in the bottom half, so 7th or worse. Okay. More predictions. I need some points, Shannon. I hope I finally... It's one thing that I lose this prediction game to. I feel like I almost never beat you in a single tournament.
Yeah, I've felt the same. You've never led at any point. You've never even come close to tying me.
I don't know how many tournaments we've predicted now. I'm scrolling down the history here. I think it's close to like 15. I think I've won 1 or 2 of those tournaments.
I mean, you have a special gift. We've already covered this before. And
yeah, I've probably lost myself some points betting on China. That's for sure. And I did it again this time. I did it again.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
All right, let's move on to Deadlock, a new gigantic update, the Old Gods New Blood update. There are 6 new heroes, although they're not all out yet. You have to vote for them in the game. I believe this creature here, forget the name of them. Actually, I know this name. It's REM, because it's like a sleep-related creature.
Have you played this patch?
No, I've opened it just to see like the hero design, because I'm interested in that, obviously. But this is a pretty huge update. They came out with a new mode called Street Brawl, where basically you're in I'm trying to remember how many players are in it. Is it still 6v6? Whatever it is, all the players, they're in one lane. And your objective is to destroy the tower.
Okay.
And if you destroy 3 out of 5, it's a best of 5, then you win the entire game. But each round that ends, you get items. It's like a little, almost like our game in a way. It's like supers. You get 3 choices of an item, and sometimes you can get a rare or legendary, but you can re-roll them. So it's like an easy mode, like a turbo version of Deadlock.
That's pretty clever design, I think. I like how this sounds.
Yeah, so far
it's something that I'm missing in Dota, where it's like we've talked about this, how a very popular mode in League of Legends for years was ARAM, right? Where you queue in, you play 3v3, there's one lane, and you get a random hero. And the games are super fast. They're like 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. And I was like, Dota should have this. And you did Path of Guardians, obviously, which was very close to that. I don't know why Dota still doesn't have this mode, especially now that they're doing something similar for Deadlock, right? Like, is there a good argument against this? That because I think Turbo is still regular Dota but faster. I think it should have a very casual, very quick game mode that is not the map. You know,
I totally agree.
I hope this spills over into Dota if it's successful in Deadlock, because I think it would be good for the game to have something like this.
Yeah, this is something that you like. If you're just starting out playing, you're not going to want to play a regular game. Like, this is the type of game you'd want to play. It's less serious.
Yeah.
You get introduced to the items in a more digestible way. It's really good onboarding. So this is definitely a good idea. They also redid some of the map, I think. The biggest thing, though, is that I was impressed with is the visuals of the quote-unquote ancients, which, what are they called? Patrons? Because they were obviously temp before.
Yeah.
Now, and they've renamed them. So one of them is called the Hidden King. This thing looks fucking sick. Like, this is...
Yeah, it's nice.
This is the boss you're trying to destroy. Like, this is really sick. And then the Archmother is the opposing version. So just extremely cool visuals. The creeps have been
this one looks a lot like Prelix, doesn't it?
I guess a little bit, yeah. I mean,
I don't know why. I think it's the pose, like Prelix in Artifact. That's the, for people that had never played. It's one of the
blue heroes.
It's a blue hero that she has this posture, right? She's standing there with her arms too, and she's summoning based, right? I don't know. It just reminded me of that. Maybe
it reminds me of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, maybe Statue of Liberty plus Prelix in one. I don't know.
They redid the creeps, and we talked about these 6 new heroes. I don't know what they do other than, which I've already forgotten what Rem does, but
I like that one of them. They have like these, these like taglines for them. One of the words is "hot mess."
Who said that? Oh yeah,
that's funny.
Silver.
And Silver, feral hot mess transformation. They're targeting a specific demographic with this one. Let me tell you.
And I think we've gone over this before, but I find maybe we haven't. They had an update a while back where basically the settings menu, and it's all 3D now. So when you open the game, you're in like your own room basically, and if you want to put in, go into a sandbox mode or watch a game, like any most UI related things, you have to walk there physically. I think that's kind of cool. I don't think
we've talked about that before. That's interesting though. Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar.
I think it's a pretty cool. It makes you feel like you're immersed in the universe, which is nice. And I think, other stuff is just smaller, but a lot of visual updates. And the game is again, it's not a game that, I mean, maybe I'll play it again sometime when they fully release. But like, how close are they to fully releasing? This feels like, to me, without knowing anything, this feels like the last step until big release. Like, now
when was it they officially released Dota?
It was like 3 years after.
Was it 2013?
13 or 14, yeah.
I think it was 2013, right? And the first patch that was playable to the public post TI1 was like, I say to the public, it was closed beta, but the first patch where people were allowed to play after they actually showed the game publicly would have been in late August 2011, right?
Yeah.
So probably like 2 to 3 years. When was the first patch to this game where it was like streamed? I can check when I played it last, because I've barely played this since the very early.
I feel like it's been almost 2 years. Is that crazy to say? It must be almost 2 years.
So I have not played Deadlock in a hot while, right? Because I think we're in the same boat where we both thought the game was interesting and had a lot of potential, but we're waiting for it to take extra steps.
I don't know if it has. Well, maybe we disagree a bit on that.
Well, in terms of like potential, it depends what you're looking at. I think this is going to be and is already a great game to play with friends or play casually. But as an esport, we both have big concerns, right? With the especially the
Well,
spectating
I
experience.
just
But
wonder what would Valve consider a success in terms of player
right.
base, because I feel like this is still too complicated for just a normal. Like if somebody wants to play Overwatch, which is I mean, I guess you can't really play the game. Maybe that's the demographic.
There you go.
But like the
Just
Marvel,
wait for the other game devs to fuck things up.
what is
and
it
you
called?
have the
Marvel
best one.
Rivals, like similar.
Marvel
Like
Rivals.
those are
yeah.
much more approachable. This is
That's fair.
this is that plus MOBA, which
Yeah.
I don't know
I
how
can see here
high
my
of a
last
ceiling you can have
played.
with
My
it.
last played was September 2024. So, and I don't remember how late that was after the game became playable. I think it couldn't have been more than like 1 or 2 months. So I think we're 1.5 years in,
Okay.
roughly.
But yeah, I mean, it feels a lot more
I'm not wrong.
polished, and to me, it feels like it's pretty close to releasing. Like maybe I mean, again, I don't play the game, so maybe there's a bunch of stuff still missing, but to me, it just feels like they're one medium to big update away from releasing the game. They could probably just release it now if they wanted, but I don't know what they're waiting for.
Something I'm thinking about this game compared to Dota is, I don't know if you would agree with this, but because you're in Dota, you're a big proponent of us getting more heroes. I think this game needs significantly fewer heroes to feel complete compared to Dota.
Oh,
I don't think
easily.
I think if the hero roster for this game was like 30 to 40, I think that would be fine. I don't think this needs like
No, I mean, how many
more
does
of these like
Overwatch
5,
have?
6 hero patches now.
I'll
I'm
ask
not sure how many they
ChatGPT real
have.
quick. Very accurate.
Okay, there's currently
resource.
38 heroes available,
Oh, you already.
and that's including these new 6, I think. Oh, 3 of them are playable right now, right? I think.
So almost.
So like,
40?
let's say give or take 40. So yeah, with that perspective, I think this hero roster is big enough for this game to be like fully released, if you will.
So
I don't
Overwatch
think they need to.
2, there's
get
45.
Yeah.
Original Overwatch only had 21, and they expanded over time. Yeah,
Wow,
I don't
okay.
think you need that many. I think you're already at the point where you can release. But
And I
again,
think compared to Dota, it actually could be to the detriment of your game to make too many more heroes. Because if the target audience for this is you want people that are into shooters or into Overwatch, et cetera, to dip their toes into this, if you get in and there's so many heroes and so many abilities that it's extremely overwhelming, like Dota became the way it did over 20 years, right?
Yeah.
But original Dota, I'm trying to remember how many heroes there were when I started playing. There was probably like 30 or something in Dota 1 that many years ago. So if you want to take this game that direction and it becomes that successful, great, but don't think you need to strive for these like ridiculous hero rosters. Like to me, this is already maybe even slightly too big for.
Yeah, because it's all about
For what you're trying to do.
onboarding and getting newer
Yeah.
player experience solidified, which this new mode definitely does a good job. Yeah, I think
So according to M Truth in the chat, they have said themselves that they aim for around 50 on release. I mean, who am I to say this, right? I've played the game only like 8 hours, right? So I'm obviously not going to pretend I know a lot about the game. It's just like a.
I mean, there's a point of what's it called? Damn, missing the term. Where you're losing the impact the more heroes you add.
Diminishing returns?
Yeah, diminishing returns, because
Yeah.
when you add new heroes as content, that is the most exciting thing for a lot of players. So just having like 10 in the bank, even though, like, for example, like we have like, well, I don't know how many, like let's say 25 leaders in our game. We're not going to have them all out at once. Like, what's the point? The game is already feeling like we just want to get it polished and whatnot, but when a new player, we don't want to overwhelm them because they're going to be overwhelmed to some degree, and that's part of the niche of our game. So why add 25 leaders when you can have like 14 that are all relatively easy to understand, and then you trickle them in? Because
yeah, I agree 100%.
Awesome.
And that's kind of what happened in Dota 2 as well, right? When Dota 2 came out, or rather became playable, there were a lot of heroes that weren't like. It's obviously a little bit of a weird stage thing because the whole meme was that they kept calling it Dota 2 beta when it wasn't a beta anymore, really. And almost everybody was playing the game at that point. But we were getting heroes like every month or every second month, they put in another hero from Dota 1.
I think the
right?
main reason they called it beta is because they knew that they were going to upgrade to Source 2, right?
And because they felt like maybe they felt it was wrong to not call it beta until all the Dota 1 heroes were in, right?
True. Yeah.
But they weren't like keeping it in like closed beta with few players until all the heroes were out. So
yeah, I hope it goes well. I mean, obviously I'm a bit torn because I know that when these big updates come out, it's because the Dota people, the Dota Valve employees are working on Deadlock. And now they come back to Dota perhaps to work on the next, like they're just flip-flopping.
Right.
So that's why we're getting less updates. But I don't know. Should be interesting to see. I from just a game design perspective, it's fascinating to see if Valve can pull this off, because this is a monumental task. Because like we said, there's a lot of things going against them. Like, even if the game is good, like what is considered a success for Valve?
Yeah.
I don't even know the answer to that question. Obviously they're in a mode right now where they don't care how many people are playing, which is fair. But once they like do the release, I mean, they're probably not going to do any marketing because they never do. But maybe they will this time.
Hope some big streamers think it's fun.
How do you capture the casual audience? This new game mode is a huge step towards the direction that they would want to go, I'm sure. But there's a lot of question marks, and I think I would be very interested, like a year after release, just to go back and see the progress that they made and what they did to, if it ends up being a success, what they did to accomplish that. Because like it's a cool case study, you know. But we'll see.
And from a Dota perspective, whether or not this game is a success, I think it's a relatively fair thing to expect that this last half year or year or whatever you want to say has been like extremely intensive with how much work they're putting into this game. So when it does get quote unquote released, if you will, hopefully, whether it's a success or a failure, it means more attention for Dota, right? Yeah. You would think. And whether that's a lot more attention or some more attention, probably something, right? Or it all goes to Counter-Strike, like who knows? But
though that's never
obviously
happen.
Those are...
We're safe on that one, at least. They don't give a shit about Counter-Strike.
Obviously, Valve have those two titles already that are successes. So if they want to build on them, they always have that option. But yeah, we'll see. All in all, just looking at this and the things you just talked about, it honestly sounds pretty cool. And like, what I hope with this, again, from a Dota perspective, is that some of the things that happen in Deadlock that are good proof of concept can be used in some fashion in other games that Valve make, including Dota. Because some of the things you just mentioned sound like they could actually just be ported almost in some form.
That's true.
And it would be cool.
I think, just to recap what I think of the game, not that it matters. I'm not their demographic at all. I'm a fucking 40-year-old. Like, there's two aspects of it I don't like. That it doesn't matter what they will do. It's never gonna, like, maybe I'll play it with friends occasionally here and there. I don't know. For now, I haven't touched it in a while. But if I'm gonna play anything that's a MOBA, it's just Dota. Like, Dota players will only play Dota. Like, that's just how it is.
Right.
And then something that I've never liked in any game in terms of first-person shooter, which I know it's not technically the first person, but a shooter, is time to kill. I have personally never gotten into a game where it takes so long to kill somebody. I like the Counter-Strikes where, you know, you have to have crazy aim and it's like very fast flicks. This one, it's just like Overwatch, Team Fortress. For whatever reason, I just could never get into it. So, do
you think, based on your experience playing Deadlock, let's say the kill time was 25% shorter, do you think that would be, I don't know if balanceable is the right word? Because like you want the spells to feel useful and be able to counterplay them and have impact. Like if the kill time is too short, then a lot of the spells don't even get used, right? So you want people to be able to get through their kit. But I see what you mean. Like when I was playing, I was also like, at least in some situations, it would take very, very long to kill someone. Maybe I'm just bad. That could be.
I mean, we're both definitely bad, but it doesn't change the fact that I like the Counter-Strike type games where it's very fast to kill somebody. It's round-based.
I guess what I'm trying to get at, let's say this was 25% faster. Would that matter for you? Or is it just, it's
No.
already too slow regardless?
I don't think it's fixable for me.
Right. Okay.
But again, my opinion literally doesn't matter at all because they're going for a different demo. Anywho, final topic, Synderen, and I'm so happy to end on a great note.
Oh.
Fable has been announced in terms of a... Actually, can you Google what the release date is for me real quick?
It says autumn 2026.
Yeah, that's right. So very interesting. So I want to talk about this from a few different perspectives. You know that I don't like RPGs generally. There's only been a couple. Jade Empire way back in the day, and the original Fable are the only two that I've liked. Well, that's not true. God of War is a more recent one. So Fable is something I have been waiting for forever, the new one to come out. It's a new studio, and it has been, I think we talked about it like one of our early episodes, if you remember, that I was super hyped, and it's been like 5 fucking years, and they finally have given it a general date of autumn, which is around the same time as GTA, which is very interesting. Oh. And at first I was like, well, that's stupid. But then I thought a little bit more, and I think GTA is November, right? So this is before, which is good. But also, this is available on, I think, everything. PC, Xbox, PlayStation, I think it's everything. GTA is only console. Like, GTA is going to be the biggest game of all time. I probably won't get it until it's on PC, though. I don't know about you. Yeah, I'm not going to fucking buy a PlayStation. So that's an interesting thing. But yeah, Fable, essentially, it was known for it was the same creator, Cinder. I don't know if you knew this, as Peter Molyneux was the original creator. He gets a lot of flack. But do you know who that is?
It sounds familiar, but I couldn't.
It's your favorite game of all time. That's not Dota. Come on.
World of Warcraft?
Okay, second. That's the game you always talk about.
I was like, that doesn't sound like a WoW guy. I don't know.
Black and White, the game we
Black and White was my next guess. Black and White was very, very good.
So Peter Molyneux was the original creator of that, and the idea behind that game was the decisions that you make kind of dictate how the game goes in a way, like with your pet. Like you slap around your pet, it becomes more evil and whatever, right? Fable, the entire idea is you make decisions throughout the game and your character becomes more evil or more saint-like. They've switched it up a bit. They've made it less binary, but it sounds like it's a lot more deep. I'm a little bit worried with the open worldness because it wasn't truly open world before, which is probably why I liked it. Now apparently it will be. So I'm a bit scared, but I will definitely still give it a try because it still looks good. The combat system was always good, and we'll see. Yeah.
So is this the PC. Original Fable was that strictly single player or?
Yeah, I think this.
And is this as well, or is this multiplayer?
Yeah, I don't believe they said anything about multiplayer. So
okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing I've been liking about these Xbox game. Like typically this was a Xbox exclusive, but now they're basically not giving a shit about Xbox anymore, which is great. Everything just comes to PC, which is terrific. So. Yeah, looking forward to Fable. It's just called Fable now.
Do you think this gameplay overview looks better or worse than you had expected? I don't know if you can even answer that question.
It looks, I guess, a little bit better than I was expecting. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, excited.
Nice. Okay, I'm excited for you. I mean, I never played Fable. I think any of them. So I don't really have a reference here, but...
All right, well, I recommend it, Syndrome.
Yeah, there you go. Sunsven recommends Fable, guys. Check it out. New video game. When's it from, actually? Original Fable.
Oh, man. When did the original Xbox come out? 2003?
Fable video game series. The first one is from 14 September 2004.
2004.
22 years ago, Shannon.
That's crazy.
Damn. You were a teenager.
Wait, can you look up Jade Empire date? I wonder what came out first.
Such a good Jade game. Empire is from 2005.
Oh, wow. It was later. Wow.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that.
April 2005.
So yeah, I played those in college, Cinderin. That's how old I am. instead of studying. That's why I got C's. Thanks to
And both of
Fable.
them were single player, so of course
Yeah.
you weren't playing with your study mates.
I mean, this game gave me a phrase that I use occasionally, which is chicken chasers. You've heard me say that, right?
Oh, is that from Jade Empire?
No, that's from Fable.
Oh, that's from Fable. The chicken
Fable,
chaser quote is from Fable.
Fable is very like
nice.
UK humor.
I see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. It looks really good. We'll see though. It's a new studio.
Nice.
So.
Okay. Cool. Well, I guess there's probably going to be some update in between now and the release that we can talk about at some point. But otherwise, it's about half a year out, I guess. A bit more, maybe.
Yep.
7-8 months.
All right.
Cool.
Good stuff. Thanks, everybody. Until next time, Suns Fan Center signing out. Peace. We say things that don't
Subscribe.
mean anything, but thanks for listening.